All right, guys, how's it going? I've got a little story for you now. It's nothing to do with Liverpool Football Club. When we're not watching, that's all right. If you don't want to watch, don't watch. Right? So last week, I took an internal flight in Spain from Madrid to Alicante. Now, I had to get on one of those buses, you know, where you go to the gate and then they bus you out to the aircraft, right? So I had to get on one of them, and I'm stood right at the door holding that pole, right? The metal pole. I don't mean a guy from Poland, right? And there's a guy stood to the right of me, and there's a couple to the left of me, and they're literally, and I've got my two bags in front of me, you know, like one of them little ones that you can wheel on, and a little rucksack, right? And they're both in front of me, so they're on that side, this guy's on there, and this couple literally jump across, like stand over my bag to get to this guy next to me, and start giving it this, like, you know, like trying to take a picture and that, and they're smiling and they're waffling away and that, but I couldn't hear what was being said. It was in Spanish anyway. I can't understand Spanish, but it was just the noise of the bus and the aircraft outside and stuff. I couldn't hear a fucking thing. So I'm thinking to myself, all right, who's this gadget then, right? You know, but nobody else on the bus is interested. Nobody else is paying any attention, and they go back to the left side of me, you know, having knocked my bag out of the fucking way and everything. And then both of them are straight on WhatsApp, because I'm like this, having a nosy, like seeing what they're doing. And they're sending the picture they've just took to each other and then to their friends and all of that. So I'm looking at this guy and I think, he does look familiar. I feel like I know this guy from somewhere. Very slim guy, opposite of me, obviously. Very trendy like me. And, you know, he had these like jeans on, white trainers. He looked like he had money. Definitely doesn't look like me. And he looked in good health. Do you know what I mean? He looked dapper. Do you know what I mean? And so we get bussed out to the aircraft, and it's one of them real tiny, you know, planes, you know, like just 4 seats. You can't even take your hand luggage on the little cases that you can on a normal flight, because there's no room. You have to leave them at the steps. But you can go on with a little rucksack and put it under the seat in front of you. This is important because the plane craft is so small that it's quite intimate. Do you know what I mean? And this guy sits next to me. Oh, hola, you know, I'm over there, fatty. All right, chill your brow. So I let him, you know, gets in and sits down next to me. And I'm like this all the time, thinking, who is he? Like, you know, and I'm watching everyone on the aircraft thinking, well, no one else is saying anything. So I'm thinking maybe he's a politician or something like that, but I'm thinking I'm sure he's something to do with football. So the flight takes off, and we do not speak in the entire journey. And I can't go on Wi-Fi, obviously, to search who this might be, yeah? Because I'm thinking to myself, this guy, the longer the flight was going on, I'm thinking, he's a Spanish manager or something, or Italian. But then I'm thinking, but we're in Spain, and Spanish people want a picture with him. If he was such a big deal from Italy, other people would be all over him, blah, blah, blah. So I'm thinking, this guy's something to do with Spanish football. And it killed me the entire flight, right? I swear that. Only 45 minutes, but it was annoying. And when I got home, I sat in my lounge, I swear down, I got the laptop out straight away. I was having a cup of coffee to wake me up. And I Googled Spanish football managers, and this guy came up on the search results, and I'm thinking, that's him, I'm sure that's him. So I got his name, and I copied it and pasted it into Twitter and clicked on latest, right? Because that's a good way of finding latest developments in the world, what's going on with people. And maybe someone took a picture of him and put it online, or I've bumped into. That's a good way of finding people, right? And I spotted him. So it was I was able to confirm his identity because there was tweets about him in the exact same clothes that he'd been on that flight with that day, right? Earlier that day with me. This was later in the evening, and that tweet was that day. I was like, this is him, this is the guy. And do you know who it was? It was this guy. Now, do you, be honest, right? Do you recognise him? I mean, there's a little clue there, you know what I mean? But do you recognise him? Anyway, you're all going to be like, yeah, of course we do, Dung. That's Louis, hang on a minute. I can't even remember his name. Yeah, of course we do, Dung. It's Luis de la Fuente. Go on then. He's only the manager of Spain. He's the actual manager of Spain. He's the Spain manager. No wonder I recognised him. I couldn't believe it, man. Which is why on this picture, look, you can see the Spanish emblem behind, and he's got it on his gear and all that, right? And well, that's it. I was raging because I mean, all right. Admittedly, I was jet lagged, right? I'd been awake for 24 hours at this point. I shit you not. With zero sleep, all them flights. I'd been waiting 6 hours for that flight that I was on with him. Even if it had been the most famous fucking footballing personality in the world, I'd have probably gone like, fuck off, mate, I can't be arsed. Do you know what I mean? But because I was awake, I was like, if I'd have known who it was, I'd have been talking to say, what, Rafa Benitez, Pepe Reina, Xavi Alonso. Do you know what I mean? I'd have been going on and on and on and on about it. So I just thought it was a little funny story that, I was just sat there thinking, I know this. Have you ever been in those situations? I did post it on the members' website. And underneath there's quite a few replies, which are interesting, from people that have been in similar situations when they've maybe bumped into someone like that and didn't realise who they were, or did know who they were, just happened to share some kind of public transport or something like that. And I did have another instance, actually. Many years ago, I helped promote an event for Liverpool Football Club, a pre-season tournament that was played in Northern Ireland. I think it was called like the Belfast Challenge Cup or Trophy, I can't remember. Years and years ago, it would be around 1999, 2000, something like that. And I was asked to promote this event on Cop Talk, and I got invited to the tournament, the pre-season tournament. I think one of the teams was Glentoran or something like that. I do not know anything about football there, guys, and I apologise to you guys over there if I'm not pronouncing it right. You know what I'm like. I was invited there to the tournament, and I went with Maria, that was my childhood sweetheart, and I remember being at half time. I was sat in what you would call the director's box, yeah. And it was really good because on the wall, there was, inside the director's box, you go down your own private stairs and then into like a posh area where you could get drink, half-time refreshments. That was for the Liverpool directors and the directors of the other football clubs that were taking part, right? And on the wall, I remember there being an A4 piece of paper, and it was, printed out, where everyone's seating arrangements were. And it was like, blah, 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 blah. Rick Parry, Duncan Oldham. I was like, yeah, I like this, man. Do you know what I mean? And it was a big deal for me then, because Cop Talk had just started, a year, 2, 3 years before then or something. And you got to remember, I was that young football fan in my 20s, obsessed with Liverpool, started this website, in a bedroom at home. And here I am, with Rick Parry in the director's box. And I remember as I'm reading that this is half time, Rick Parry comes in, all right? And I sit down and I'm having a cup of coffee with Maria in this bar area at half time, and I'm looking around, and there's Rick Parry over there, stood there with a carry bag from some posh shopping place, that he'd been to, probably buying something for the missus or something. It was very posh, and he was stood at the bar, and to the table to the right of me was Sammy Hoopier, and a couple of other players. I can't remember the names right now. I would be here all day if I tried to remember them. But I know for a fact Sammy Hoopier was there. And on the table, on the other table next to me, was one gentleman, one man, a black fella, right? Am I allowed to say that because he was black? I'm just, what I mean? It's important. I don't see skin colour when I talk about people, bump into people. I just, I don't see that, but it's important because I'm trying to describe someone. So I see this black fella, and he's knocking on a bit, and I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, I know who he is. And I don't think then that there was, smartphones. There certainly weren't phones like today back then, do you know what I mean? I'll be on a little flip phone, a little Nokia or something like that. And, so I remember looking at him thinking, who is he? I recognise him, but no one else was talking to him either. And he just sat there, quite podgy, quite a big fella, you know what I mean? He put a bit of weight on it. Anyway, cut a long story short, I didn't know who it was, and I was saying to Maria, I was saying, oh, I know this fella from somewhere. Anyway, so after the game, after I'd returned home, got back to England, after I was reading the reports about the tournament and working on Cop Talk, it then turned out that he was Eusebio, one of the greatest footballers of all time. And he was sat here next to me. And it's one of my biggest regrets of Cop Talk. And maybe you don't understand that, you know what I mean? But if you can think of the greatest footballers of all time, but that were before your time, if that had been Ronaldo or Messi, they're not, obviously. But, you know, I never saw Eusebio play. He played well, you know, before my time. And he didn't look like Eusebio the footballer, obviously, because he was an old man, do you know what I mean? And, but because I respect football and love football, you know, that's Eusebio. And when I told my uncle, who was a massive football fan, you know, Legion, he was like, are you for fucking real? I was like, oh, that's Eusebio, man. You know, so back then you couldn't have had a selfie. Back then a selfie was nothing to do with a phone. It was something else those fellas will know about. Well, I'm not saying you're a wank. Anyway, so it would have been an autograph, you know, and it's one of those biggest regrets, honestly, you know, my time with Cop Talk. Like, the day I met Eusebio but didn't. Imagine sitting down with someone going, hi mate, all right, yeah, cheers, not a bad game, is it? Yeah, who the fuck is that? Who is he? You know, so just, you know, a couple of them little stories that sometimes I think you guys might appreciate. I think those of you that are, you know, regulars around these parts might get them. Have you got any stories like that? Have you, you know, bumped into anyone? Maybe outside football, you know, anything where you've gone, fucking hell, you know. So yeah, I shared a flight with the Spain national manager and had no idea it was him. So yeah. I think maybe if I'd been awake, I would have probably realised. But in fairness, I've shown that picture to many people, and they've all gone, I want to recognise him. Do you know who the fucking manager of Spain is these days? You know. So anyway, I thought I'd share it with you. If you appreciate the video, please thumbs up. Please do leave a comment. To, you know, even if you're thinking, God, you're a bit of a div, aren't you, Dunk? That's all right. You know what I mean? Yeah, hit the super thanks button if you want to buy me a drink for the weekend. I got friends coming over actually from England at the weekend, Saturday, so I don't particularly want to go boozing at the moment. I am trying to look after myself a little bit, really. You know, get another chin off or something, you know what I mean? But we're very, very, very good friends visiting from England on Saturday, so we will be going out for a few sherbets. So if you want to contribute and buy me a drink, hit that super thanks button immediately. Yeah. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed them two little stories there, guys. All right, guys. Thank you.